full disclosure, this impression of Shenmue is going to be from someone who has actually never played Shenmue before. I have no nostalgia to the series. It's going to be a fresh perspective of someone playing for the first time in 2018. So, on to the show. There are a few games that always push gaming forward and are always remembered as masterpieces. Super Mario Bros. 64, Zelda Ocarina of Time, and of course Final Fantasy VII are just a few examples of this. I remember as a kid, a game that I always heard of that was also remembered for this exact reason was Shenmue. I remember people always telling me that Shenmue was one of the most amazing games to ever come out during its time. And I never had the chance to personally play Shenmue, and then when I heard that Shenmue 3 was coming out, I was kind of excited. It didn't really mean much to me since I've never had the chance to play these titles. And then they announced Shenmue 1 and 2 were being remastered. And I was pretty excited that for the first time I was going to get my hands on these masterpieces and see what they finally were about. What people were so excited to play. So I've played Shenmue 1, and in 2018 I have to say there are some things that I think still hold up pretty well, and a lot of things that do not. And I think if you're someone who goes into Shenmue remembering when it came out, it's very easy for you to say, wow, this is amazing, considering the time period. But in 2018, there are a lot of things that make the game very hard to enjoy for the first time. A good example of this is, as soon as I started the game, the first thing I noticed was obviously the visuals, which I imagined they weren't going to be that great, but I had to look up what the original looked like on Dreamcast. And while there is a difference, the difference wasn't much, and I really wish that they would have put a little more time into actually remastering these games. The second problem I instantly had was the audio. Not just the English voice acting, which is horrendous, but I kind of give that a pass, seeing as it's one of the first games to probably really do voice acting. My problem is that they didn't fix the audio. It still sounds old, and it sounds like in the background every time someone talks, you hear like this bass and crackling. It's just kind of weird. So I changed it to Japanese, thinking that it would be any better. And the Japanese audio, while the acting sounds better, the actual audio itself still has that same problem. And I personally find it to be incredibly distracting. As for that, let's talk about the gameplay. The game feels incredibly stiff. It almost feels like the game is working against what you are trying to do. I constantly found myself getting trapped in corners in the house while I was trying to explore. And the game doesn't do a very good job of telling you what buttons do what, how to interact with items. It actually took me, I want to say until I got into the city that I realized that you can interact with items by zooming in on them. And then I restarted the game because I felt like I missed interacting with so many things. So, I wish the game kind of did a little bit of a better job, at least of telling me. Even if it was just kind of like the old school games where in the beginning, in a load screen, it showed you what every button does. Because that really would have helped a lot. As for the combat itself, the combat seems kind of stiff. It reminds me a lot of like old school Tekken 3. It's the animations are kind of stiff, but it feels decent enough and gets the job done. What I will say is that in Shenmue 1, you definitely don't get into combat as much as you would in Shenmue 2. Shenmue 1 is much more of a mystery game, where you're kind of just talking to civilians, getting clues, and trying to figure out exactly what happened and to your father. I mean, you know what happened, but more so why it happened, who did it, and how you can get them. And I personally appreciated this. I don't mind games that don't have combat. I love A Night in the Woods, and I really think that this is where Shenmue shines. It's its story And while I had such a hard time with the controls, I constantly found myself being interested in the world and wanting to figure out more. I would go into a shop and once I finally figured out how to zoom into things, it was amazing to me how many things you can actually interact with. I remember I went into a house and there were all these cabinets, and once you figure out that you have to zoom in and interact with them, you literally can interact with all of them. And nowadays, that's still pretty impressive to me, because there's so many games that you see all these cabinets, you see all the doors, and you can't interact with 90% of them. They're just there to be there. So I thought that that was a really cool addition, and it made me very happy to see that even a game that came out so long ago can kind of feel fresh. Um, so I think that that's where Shenmue really shines, and I think that that's where. Before I give my final thoughts, I just want to say if you like the video so far, please hit that like button and subscribe. Check out our other videos. We did one recently on Guacamelee 2, as well as we do some coverage on news ideas, such as Overwatch needing an expansion pass. So for my final verdict of this game, it's kind of hard to say if you should recommend this. I want to say yes, because I do think that Shenmue is a special gem if you can manage to put yourself in the time period that it came out in. But it's incredibly hard. I constantly saw myself struggling with the controls. The visuals are no problem. I'm not someone who cares for that. But the controls and the stiffness, I hated feeling like my character was walking through maple syrup all the time, like thick maple syrup too. It almost felt as if no matter what I was doing, I wasn't doing anything fast. And then you find out that you have to do certain things within a certain time frame, because you have a watch that gives you the time of the day. And I found it incredibly annoying when you would have a task and then you couldn't finish it because you didn't realize that it was timed, or you didn't know what you had to do, and then by the time you figured out what you had to do, it's done. A good example of this is early in the game. There's an old lady looking for a house. It actually became nighttime, and I was like, all right, well, I found the house, but the old lady wasn't where I told her to meet up with me. And apparently, if you just don't find the house within a certain time, she just automatically goes to the house herself, which was kind of upsetting because I didn't know. So when I restarted the game, that was one of the first things I did, was go and help her. But it kind of sucks because it's discouraging where I don't want to miss anything, and now I'm constantly going to be worried about every day when I'm playing, and that timer. All right, well, what did I miss if I don't explore every place before I commit to something? So I don't know. I think if you're a fan of the Shenmue games, obviously this is something you can pick up, and I think that people who are already fans are going to be able to play this no problem. I think if you're a first timer, it's kind of hard. If you're someone who really doesn't care for combat, you don't mind the stiffness of the controls, and you just want a great game that interacts with the world and the civilians, and a pretty interesting story, I think this game is for you. It's really hard to just recommend it for anyone, though. I think it's going to have a very niche audience, and I can say after playing the game, I can see why maybe some people, even back when it came out, didn't really like it. Like, I see what it was doing at the time and how it was revolutionary, but I can also see how someone played it and was like, you know what, this really isn't for me. So, once again, that was my impressions of Shenmue. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like button and check out other content we have, as well as check us out on Instagram and Twitter. And thanks a lot. Have a good one.
Do you know where Fukusan is?
Fukahara-san? I believe he's in the dojo.
Really? Thanks. Ine-san,
Ryo-san,
you must be tired. Perhaps you should rest.
I'm fine. If I don't keep busy, I'll get depressed, you know.
That's just like you, Ine-san. Well, just don't overwork yourself.
Yes.
See you.
Keep your balance. That's right. Now listen. Tighten up your abdomen. Straighten up. Find your center of balance. Yes, like that. Yes, good.
Ryo-san, is everything okay? Don't worry, I'm fine. I want to ask you about that man.
Oh, that man.
The man called Landi. What did he talk with my father about?
Landi demanded the mirror, and then they threw me out of the dojo.
The black suits? Catch the names?
I don't know. They came out of nowhere.
I see. Thanks, Fuku-san. If you remember anything at all, be sure to tell me.
Ryo-san, why? What you gonna do? Ryo-san, where are you going? You're not going after them. Please don't. Look what they did to Hazuki-sensei.
They killed my father, right in front of me. I will have my revenge. I need to do this for my father. Ichiro. Hey, bro. I want to ask you something.
Yeah? What is it?
That day, did you see any men wearing black suits?
That day? No, I didn't see them.
I see. Any idea of who may have seen them?
How about Mishima-san or Kondo-san? Those women just might know something. You know, they're always near the payphone in Sakuragaoka. Standing there chatting and gossiping all day?
Yeah.
Maybe they know and are chatting about it now.
I'll ask them. Thanks. Noriko.
Ryo,
About that day.
that day? The day of the incident. I heard about it from Nozomi. It must be hard for you.
No, I'm fine. Did you see any men wearing black suits that day?
No, I didn't. What about them?
It's nothing, really. Yo.
あ、お兄ちゃんだ。何してんの？
ちょっとね。いや。
あ、お兄ちゃん、一緒に遊んでよ。
ごめん。後でな。外出中かな。
お兄ちゃん。
めぐみちゃんか。猫がいるのか？
お兄ちゃん、めぐみのママに内緒にしてくれる？
ああ。
じゃあお兄ちゃんには特別に見せてあげるね。
めぐみちゃんの猫かい？
違うの。この猫ちゃんはね、一人ぼっちなの。
一人ぼっち？
この間ね、ハメの時にね、ママ猫が車にひかれちゃったの。めぐみのお姉ちゃんが見てたの。大きい黒い車だったんだって。
黒い車？
すごく怖かったって言ってたよ。めぐみ、お姉ちゃんとね、ママ猫のお墓作ったの。代わりにめぐみが猫ちゃんのママになってあげるんだ。でも、めぐみのママがね、お家で飼っちゃダメだって言うの。
それでここで飼ってるのかい？
お手伝いしてくれるんだ。コウタ兄ちゃんとね、ヤスお兄ちゃん、カヤちゃんも。
そうか。
猫ちゃん、元気ないんだ。お腹空いてんのかな。
ちょっと待ってな。こうやって食べやすくしてあげるんだ。
ふーん。うわー、食べてる。
まだ子猫なのに一人ぼっちか。
ひどいよね。山岸のおじいちゃんも惹かれそうになったんだって。
山岸さんが？
ピューンって車が来てね、びっくりして転んじゃったんだって。お尻が痛くてずっとお家にいるんだよ。めぐみ、お菓子屋さんへ行くときね、いつもおじいちゃんとこ寄るんだ。
そうか、近くだからな。めぐみちゃんも車には気をつけるんだよ。
は
じゃあ、今ちょっと急いでるから。
ーい。猫ちゃんの名前一緒に考えようよ。
そうだな。いいの思いついたらまた来るよ。
きっとだからね。バイバイお兄ちゃん。
バイバイ。
あら、りょうちゃん。
近藤さん、事件の日、黒い服の男を見ませんでしたか？
事件の日？雷が鳴ってた日よね。見てないわね。
そうですか。あの日、この辺で何か変わったことは？
別に何もなかったけど、この辺のことは住谷さんが詳しいわ。住谷さんに聞くといいわよ。
そうですか。三島さん。
あら、りょうちゃん。
事件の日、黒い服の男を見ませんでしたか？
え？黒い服？見なかったわね。
じゃあ、何か変わったことはありませんでしたか？
さあ、これといって。
何でもいいんです。覚えていることがあれば。
ごめんなさいね。あの日は天気が悪かったからずっと家にいたのよ。住谷のおばさんには聞いてみたの？ご近所のこと詳しいわよ。
そうですか。いないみたいだな。 留守かな。すいません。
すみませんが、男性は苦手なの。
そうですか。住谷さん、
あら、りょうちゃん。
事件の日、黒い服の男を見ませんでしたか？
黒い服？猫なら見たけど。
黒い猫ですか？
ええ、車にはねられたらしくて、そばで子猫が泣いてるのよ。そういえば、三島さんとこの子まで一緒になって泣いてたわね。
そうですか。他に何か変わったことは？
そういえば、山岸さんが公園の角で転んで大変だったのよ。急に来た車を避けたとかで、痛そうに腰を押さえて。きっと猫をはねた車よ。よっぽどスピード出してたんでしょうね。
そういうことだったのか。
ちょっとすいません。
はい。
この表札はなんて？
田島さんですね。
そうですか。山本さんのお宅に行きたいんですが、何文明が悪くて。
わかりました。俺が探してきます。この先の公園で待っててください。
すいませんね、ご親切に。よろしくお願いします。